You're listening to Fast Facts, Ask the Expert with Tom Viola. Welcome, listeners, to Fast Facts, Ask the Expert, joined today by Tom Viola. Tom, thank you for being here.
Thank you so much for having me, Andrew. It's always a pleasure.
I got another drug for you that I want to talk about a little bit because I think this is the one that seemingly is, I think, with college students and everyone else, especially when I was growing up, this is one that people just think is relatively safe. And so I want to talk about Adderall. I want to talk about the types of people that are using it. Is it still as popular as it used to be? Recreational, what happens to the body when they're using it recreationally, and all of this stuff. So what can you tell us?
So Adderall is the one drug I would say that many people like to use and misuse because it's the same drug coming from the same bottle. So you could say that when you use Concerta or Adderall, you're kind of getting the best of both worlds. Or in other words, your insurance company pays to get you high. You know what I'm saying? So you get a prescription filled for 30 Adderall or 30 Concerta, right? And so you take the bottle home. 4 or 5 days out of the week, you take it like you're supposed to. You swallow the tablet. It's great for your ADHD. It's great for your narcolepsy or whatever you're using it to treat. But 2 or 3 other days of the week, you don't need it for the ADHD. So you crush up the tablet, or I can't go into too much detail, but find another way to liberate the drug from the tablet, snort it, smoke it, inject it, whatever. And so you pay the same price for the drug. You paid your copay, but you're using the drug in 2 different ways. So it's a illicit drug that's being used illicitly. And what you would expect from Adderall, and which is basically dextroamphetamine, and Concerta, which is methylphenidate, is the typical things you'd find from a stimulant. So pale skin, and increased body temperature, runny nose, and dilated pupils, and perhaps some weight loss, most notably weight loss, but an increase in blood pressure and pulse, which should be easy enough for us to discover if we took a blood pressure and pulse on every patient. But sometimes we don't. And that's why I think we may get ourselves into trouble there, because the signs were there, we just missed it. Of course, things like xerostomia and periodontal disease are always obvious signs. But bruxism too, clenching and grinding, may be a side effect of the misuse of dextroamphetamine and methylphenidate in both Adderall and Concerta, respectively.
Now, if you have ADHD, does it work on you differently than if you do not have ADHD, or maybe no symptoms of ADHD at least?
Good question. So let's say I don't have ADHD, and let's say I want to misuse either, Adderall or Concerta, again, dexamphetamine or methylphenidate. Would I get any different effects if I was using it for ADHD or not? No, when it's used illicitly, when we're trying to break the tablet or in some way liberate the drug from the tablet's supposed to be time release. It's supposed to be an extended release dose that lasts, every 12 hours or every 24 hours. But people break the tablet, break the capsule, try to liberate the drug, get that dose all at once, and it's going to have the same effect on you or me or anybody who has ADHD or doesn't have ADHD, because it's that wildly, erratic stimulant effect you get from taking these drugs in a way contrary to the way they were designed to be taken.
And so abuse is pretty common with this one. Is there also overdose effects, or is there not so much overdosing with this?
Oh, I would say overdose is definitely a problem. And the reason for that is because, we're talking about increased blood pressure and pulse, but think about the other things that people do in addition to using a drug like this illicitly that would also raise their blood pressure and pulse. So we're talking about maybe a few energy drinks throughout the day that have a large amounts of caffeine and guarine. We're talking about some people use albuterol inhalers for the stimulant effect as well. And some people end up using marijuana to sort of come down from that stimulant effect. But again, unbeknownst to them, the marijuana can raise their blood pressure and pulse as well. So hypertensive crisis, the potential for myocardial infarction, stroke are high, even in young people who you wouldn't assume necessarily had that predisposition. They can very well become victims of the fact that they don't believe they're in that age group. They don't believe that they're likely or predisposed to that, yet they are. And that's important for us, again, because we got to take blood pressures and pulses to realize who's at risk and who's not.
Oh, that's such a great point. Tom, thanks for being on again. If anyone wanted to reach out to you, how might they find you?
You can find me anytime at my website, tomviola.com, or anywhere on social media at Pharmacology Declassified. Thanks so much, Andrew.
Thanks. Thank you for listening to Fast Facts, Ask the Expert. If you have a topic you'd like one of our experts to answer, simply email me, Andrew at ataleoftwohygienist.com, and we will get it on the air as soon as possible. Thanks for listening.